Crackling. We're live. I'm dancing and we're here.
I'm dancing over here. I finished my last bite of lunch the second Hannah was like, we're going live.
I was trying to wait, but I was like anxiously talking to let her chew, let her chew. I'm curious
Which
to see if
reminds
anyone
me, I don't think you even answered my question about Jess's staging site.
What question? It's in
I
Slack.
asked if the pronounced staging URL I have is correct.
Yes.
Okay, so she has it set up. Hold on, should I back up so anyone that joins knows what I'm talking about?
Yeah. You're assuming people are going to join. I didn't market this one. I just made the event today and I didn't email anyone. So there's a chance that this is all for us, just for me to have marketing content, but maybe someone will hop on. Maybe someone will join later.
Okay. You told me that we could play with Jess's staging site with Pronounced Skincare.
Yes.
With Creator. It's currently on Restored 316, but I thought you guys had all this conversation about other stuff.
Okay, now I need to go look. Make sure I'm in. Maybe she's made changes since we last spoke. Yeah, I think so.
Okay, so I should not mess with her staging site then.
No.
Yeah, because I was going to go in there and like set it up, see what I could do.
Oh, that's so sad. I mean, it looks good, and I'm glad she got to play with it and move things around, but not what I saw previously.
Okay, so we shouldn't touch that one.
Yeah.
Is there someone else's staging site that I could mess with?
If I had known we were in this scenario, I would have made one, because obviously I have someone starting today that would have been great for this hour of life. We could have played with Flavor Bender. I guess you can play with All My Cravings, but they don't have content, so that's not as fun.
On that one.
Yeah. Flavor Bender, we're gonna need. They don't have a staging environment yet, and I haven't moved content over yet. That was all stuff.
What host did he on?
I don't know. It's all stuff that I was going to do after this live. Denny's on my list after this live. I know, I'm the worst.
Okay.
I can go look.
I'm going to look at Big Scoots and see if she's on that, because that's like...
Easy.
Normally, yeah, the easiest one for me to work with.
Beautiful. Look at you doing dev things.
It is.
That's exciting.
Okay. So it is on Big Scoots, which we have access to because we've worked with her live site. I'm going to check out. She doesn't have a staging environment. This is perfect. Okay, so I think we could safely play around with switching a theme over to Creator.
Yep.
Yeah.
You just made my life a lot easier this week. Thanks so much.
Your face looks so disappointed, and I was like, oh no, Hannah doesn't like this.
No, I feel like I'm being lazy because you're about to do so many things for me that would take me way longer. I'm excited to watch you do it.
I haven't done it in this capacity before. So this will be new. There'll definitely be a little bit of Lauren like floundering.
We like that.
Yeah, we love that. All right, let me share my screen. So, well, let me create the staging site first and then...
Okay, I'm going to mute to post in our collab group to see if anyone wants to join.
Okay. I'll just kind of chat. I don't want to share the like dashboard settings for Flavor Bender's site for privacy reasons, but with Big Scoots, there's just like a create staging button. And so I have clicked that. Usually it doesn't take more than like 5 minutes. And then once I have a WordPress like environment that I can log into, then I'll start sharing my screen for that. I'm hoping it's pretty quick, but it will depend, partially on like older sites have a lot more content. So that'll impact like how long it takes to create the staging. Not just like So it'll be like the number of posts you have, the number of media items. Like it doesn't matter how big the images are. It's just like your database is larger because you have uploaded more media in the past, so like more references. But then like there's even stuff where more plugins will create even plugins you're not using anymore. If they stored a lot of information in your database, you have all these tables that potentially have to be moved. I mean, if you look, if you guys who just love databases look at how much space each table takes up, the plugin tables usually aren't like that much. Like they're not like what's make or breaking your site. It's your posts, it's your post meta, it's probably your options table. Like stuff like that tend to be a lot bigger. But it's all factors. If you're saving like 1 million revisions, that all goes in your post table.
Ooh.
Yeah. So even if you have like
that.
So for me, if you have like 30 days of history for your revisions, so some hosts or you purposefully will like set your revisions to 30 days. But like for me, I might have like 56 revisions in the past 30 days. Like I'm just clicking save and then checking what it looks like on the front end.
Yep.
Like, I'm not being real careful with my revisions. So that's why some places will only like some hosts will limit you to like 3 revisions, which in theory is good, except for people like me, where like 3 revisions means I've changed something to uppercase, I've changed the color of something else, and then I deleted a block. Like, and I did those all in separate saves. It's not very helpful.
Yeah.
But it would make your database smaller. So this still says it's going. So we'll just wait a little longer.
Cool.
Okay, fine with that. This will be a good chance. I'll put in my headphones so that
Okay.
Yeah, I'll have those in. I had here, I'll show off my water bottle. We have a viewer.
Hooray! Please introduce yourself if you want to. It's Laura. I was going to my personal DMs after posting in the creator theme profile because number 1, I'm hoping that my announcement made it easier for you to find us. And number 2, I know that you're always here, so I was looking for you, Laura. So excited.
My AirPods. Sorry, I'm distracted because I have to tell the story I was going to tell. I have to go back to it.
Please do.
No, I got excited too. I get excited by Laura too. My AirPods are like gross because I spilled coffee in a place that I had this like water bottle which has all my crap on it. This is like my purse. But I spilled and it was like sideways and I spilled coffee all along it. And so my AirPods case is like covered in coffee. The inside of it has like dried coffee. I have like a little pill container, but it's in a silicone wrapper. And so it's got like sticky coffee on it. It's all really, really gross. And it's been like weeks. Yeah. And I'm like, at some point I really should just like, you just need to like wipe it off, right? Yeah. Laura says that's gross. Not verbatim.
Okay, I'm glad the new system worked for you, Laura. That's exciting. You were quick too, like within seconds after I posted, you were here. So good.
She's like, they should really just figure out how to share the link for these lives. Yeah.
That link is an elusive little beast, but
I also was like, look, I'm a developer.
It's a moving target and I can't catch it. But hey, following the profile, seeing where you can click to watch the live is surely good enough. You were looking
the staging site.
It's still going.
The staging site's still, yeah, it's still working.
Okay, so in my brain, in my pea brain, where I was like, fallen face, because I was like, oh man, this is a big part of like what I'm gonna do today. I was thinking migrating content to a staging environment would be like hours of my life, not minutes. And you're like, oh man, it's been 3 minutes.
Yeah. That's exactly how I feel. Hold. It worked, so I'm just gonna log in.
Magical. What a hard 3 minutes that was.
I feel that way.
Okay, Laura, so we have a past client, Flavor Bender, moving to Baked and Branded, and Lauren's going to do a lot of my work for me, which is both exciting and scary because then I could mess up something that she does. Um, and set this site up, set the staging environment up. So I'm excited to see what she does with all the existing content. How long has Flavor Bender been blogging? Do you know?
Nope, but I can look it up.
I mean, she's in A1 since my day one, so we're gonna say like over 8 years.
She has 630 published posts,
Whoa,
200 drafts, pretty much. And
cool.
her first post is from 2014. So she's over her 10-year mark now. So first thing first, I'm going to install the theme and some plugins on her site.
So this first Freemius is going to look wrong because it's ours. The second one, you're going to impersonate her?
Yes. And you had her buy this bundle, right?
Surely.
Surely. I know. I'm a developer. Backend. Guys, the Freemius backend is madness. Like, you have to have the theme and then you have to have a bundle. And so who knows how any of it works? I mean, I do know how some of it works, but
Look at that.
Bender.
Woohoo.
How do I log in as her?
Right. Hooray.
Okay, we can close that. We're going to go into her downloads. Copy that key.
Is there a way to just download all of them?
No.
You're a developer. You're supposed to know that.
But I only develop my own stuff. This is all the development of the download system. I can't be held responsible for their decisions.
Freemius's problem.
Exactly. And then we still haven't fixed this download latest, so I can't install this remove last item right now.
It's on the list. Torturing us.
Okay, so we need to add both of the themes. That's the most important, really, is we need creator theme premium. So this is like the parent theme. This is the main thing, the main one that'll get updates that are like any functionality or like foundational code. It's pretty small. And then we're gonna, like the files, there's not a lot of files in it versus like there are more files in Baked and Branded because it's so like opinionated. So it has 60 or 80, however many patterns we created for it, all of that.
A lot. Didn't one of our clients have an issue with their host uploading Baked and Branded? Did we fix that?
We didn't have any, I don't know. Not that I remember. What I remember is that we had some plugins that wouldn't license and it said it was blocked. But I don't know what the solution was. I just refreshed it and it worked for me when it didn't work for other people.
Okay. No, I was thinking of I think we had to change maybe the formatting of our images or something about our image size in Baked and Branded because it exceeded a size limit for one outlier host that was obviously not the norm, but they did have a size limit.
Yeah, that is true. I had to delete and resize a bunch of images that were just there to make the demo look more realistic. But then they caused size issues. So yeah. Okay, so we have the theme activated.
You're going to listen to me and follow my process?
Of what?
That after you put the theme in, you do all of the plugins, or else you're never going to remember or want to. So you've got to do it all at once while you're committed. It is a process.
And I'm like, I don't even want to do all of these. Okay, I have 3 more.
I mean, you don't have to. I'll just be sad about it.
I mean, I just want to like get to the fun stuff is really what it is, right?
Yes, yes, yes. Okay, here are the baked and branded. That's my like quick start guide. Laura, I know you've already done most of this, but it's there if you want it. And I'm still going through some of it because video formatting and, you know, I forgot what I was doing a week ago and lost track of this guide.
Okay, so I'm using new tabs to install all of this just because it's easiest. Post Selector isn't one that's like, this is a free one and we don't have it in Freemius right now. So I just had to search for Post Selector.
Okay.
And then those are like, I'm just going to close all these tabs instead of clicking activate. I'm going to do them all at once. Did I activate the theme already? Yes. Okay, theme is active. And then I'm going to activate all of our new ones at once. Activate. And then we have to license all of these, which I also do in new tabs.
And it's all the same key, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So it's still just copy, enter.
Yeah. But
Or
it's
paste.
the case where if you like, if one hasn't finished saving, you can't click the next, else you have to like redo it.
Mm.
So I normally like I have to wait for this one.
Oh, those few seconds
Okay.
really got her. I say that,
It-
but I would probably be like, it's thinking I'm going to walk away. And it would cost me more time. So
That one. So like I wait for this like to start doing its circle and then I click the next one. This one do its circle. And then the next one. And that really does kill me.
you're doing great. So much faster. This would have taken me at least 30 minutes.
Okay. I believe we have our plugins activated and licensed. I don't remember activating Creator, but I must have.
You move so fast.
Okay. Hers is in here already. Beautiful.
Nice.
And now it's about recreating her site.
Woohoo.
Branding here. So we have
Yeah.
our starting, just like
How
site.
everybody starts.
Yeah. And then should I do it according to what's next on your guide? Do you want to, should I click that? And
I think next is the site logo, but you can do
well, I
whatever.
wasn't sure if you wanted me to. Okay, I'll just do whatever then. Okay, so yeah, I would go into edit site and then I'm gonna just start like playing with stuff. Get started. Let this load. So yeah, the first thing. So I don't think her site logo exists in the media library. We might have to upload a better version of it.
I love that you even remember these things.
Well, I know because I've done a number of our like custom clients and I didn't upload the image. I used a reference from their theme.
Okay.
And so I've been having to like go back and upload their logos for most things.
But
So like I was like, oh, it's
2023,
probably going to be the case.
this has to be.
So we're going to use this one.
Yeah.
Because it already exists here and it's high resolution. So I think it's going to look great. But I do normally prefer an SVG for logos just so it scales really nicely on all screen sizes.
Okay.
So I would normally like get an SVG version of her logo, which I'm sure we have from the designer, and upload it here. But like she already has one, so it's not really necessary. It's just more of like an optimization thing I would potentially do.
Okay.
Okay. And then I normally I would literally just save that and go look on the front end because I need those like little hits of success. And I'd be like, look, I did something.
But because of our revision conversation, you're like, I'm not going to.
Yes. So instead, I'm going to go to styles and we're going to go into colors and change out her palette.
Oh, I already have anxiety. I want you to click save before you do it.
Save.
I think you made me like this. There's no way I became like this on my own.
It's like, I just feel like it's so much better to like save it.
Like, let me go look. That's progress.
Exactly. I do want to see this. And then now that I'm like, well, if we're going to look at it regularly, we should have like demo content on the homepage. So I'm going to go ahead and edit this homepage and add in one of the starting points and like change this. So just so I can like, when we put colors in, I can see what's happening.
Cool.
Make some decisions based on that. So first up for my template, I don't want that title to be there. So I'm going to change it to landing no header. No page title right there. And then in my patterns, go to starting points. I hate that they don't have like a title underneath. Okay, so category, filter. This looks like the homepage here. Oh, this is start here, which is fine.
It said
That's
start
perfect.
or home, right? It said start here.
I don't know.
I think it said
Hold
start or
on. Starter
Yes.
home.
Ha ha.
Ha 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 ha.
Due for my next LASIK appointment. And so I was going to be really sad if I read that so wrong. Thanks for letting me be right.
Okay, we saved the homepage, I think. Oh. I didn't open a new tab. You know how I like to have all my tabs. Just waiting for it to save.
It's done. A little better.
Okay, pretty. All right, so now I can go back into my colors. So because we like weren't prepared, I don't have her palette in front of me, so we're gonna have to go like find it. We're gonna have to go make some decisions and like grab color codes from her site.
Cool.
I'm pretty sure in terms of her palette, I mean, we're gonna have to add some more colors to what's already here because remember we have like primary and secondary. But like she has more than just primary and secondary. There's technically tertiary, but she has like one.
Yeah, look at
she has at least 3 colors. I'll probably do like primary, alt, like dark blue, light blue, and then secondary, alt. So it's like coral, light coral. And then maybe this will just be tertiary on its own. I feel like that could work. And I feel like that'll work really well with the fact that like the way this site is set up, like there's the primary will work with contrast with white, but then the primary alt is usually like an accent, and then the contrast is with black. So with her, I feel like we got really lucky that her color scheme already has that, and we're not going to have to like fill in any gaps.
Cool.
So this could be like kind of an ideal switcheroo.
I never get that lucky. That's so exciting.
Okie dokie. And then color codes I'm pulling from her code. You guys would probably have hex codes in front of you. But we're going to do blue as primary just because I see a lot more of that. And I believe we use the primary color for links as well. But we can always change that. All right, so dark blue, light blue. Did this change? It does not look like her shade. I did it wrong already. Okay, got it. This is the light blue. Primary. Look, I have primary and secondary set up. Secondary? Correct.
Cool.
Secondary alt. Correct. Oh no, where's the other color?
It was right.
Where's the teal? Where is it?
Stop it.
I
You're
can't.
scrolling. Well, now I can't see anything.
There's only 4 colors here. Okay. This is our tertiary. And then I really want to peek at this, but we're going to do the other colors still. We need neutrals, and then we need like an alternate base color, which is something that's just like barely off-white.
Okay.
I wonder, I mean, it almost would be that, but this is the secondary alt. Is this, what color is this one? This feels like a brighter blue.
My brain, that's kind of green.
I feel like this. Yeah, that's definitely a different color. I thought primary alt was the same.
Cool.
And then we need neutrals. Maybe this, like it doesn't look quite black. It's not beautiful. We're gonna have to look at that depending on how we use the neutral, but that might work. And then do we have a lighter black we use anywhere? This for sure. It's not right. Okay. We'll start with this. We might change these. Nice.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like this instantly like brands it more as Flavor Bender. The contrasts aren't the same as what she has currently on her site because we're using like light colors, and her design has a lot more like primary and secondary together. Where like this.
Okay.
And even like this tertiary color on top of primary, and there's this secondary a little bit. So I feel like that's kind of missing in terms of what her current brand has, but we definitely have the color scheme in general. Oh, this is a plugin. We'll probably deactivate that plugin, at least temporarily.
Okay.
Anywhere we've colored the SVGs, we're gonna have to redo that. That like duotone must just work in a way where it's hard coded, but that's not a big deal. So like this pink here and this tan. But the contrast looks good, and overall, like this one's like not perfect, right? But it actually looks pretty close to her brand because of it using all 3 of these colors.
I like it.
Yeah.
So excited.
Fun. Okay. Font. Be a little harder. Okay, so let me look at what she's using. Because I think she has custom fonts. We're gonna have to figure out what we want to do about that. All right, so her primary header, or like the header font she's using is Rubik. She's got this accent font, Brandon Smith. Her body text is also Rubik. Are you laughing at me right now?
The name of that font. It wasn't you. It was the name.
What is this one? Also Rubik. This is convenient. So essentially she only has 2 fonts. Our site basically uses 2 fonts.
Okay.
Cool. Now we just have to figure out how we're going to get those on our site. All right, Rubik and Brandon Smith font. Is that right? Yeah. Rubik font. Okay, Rubik is a Google font, which is convenient. We should be able to add this in really easily. Brandon Smith.
He's going to be troublesome, I can tell.
Yeah, only a little. It's kind of easy for us because the font is available for free, so I don't have to like worry about trying to get it from the client and like upload it. We can just do it right now.
Okay.
Oh, I should have read that. This font is heavy to load.
Huh.
You should avoid previewing it before installing it. Huh. I don't love that, guys. All right, let's talk about that. First, let's look at fonts. So up here in styles, I'm going to go to typography. And it looks like we have 3 fonts that we're using, like accent body headers. Flavor only uses 2. She's got body and headers both use Rubik, which is going to be convenient, but then the accent font is different. So well, let's start with body font. We're going to tell them we want Rubik. We're going to go in here and we're going to install as few of these as possible. So I know when we actually like created Baked and Branded, I talked about installing fonts and like variations and stuff, but just to kind of reiterate that here, in terms of like all of these variations, they're all individual font files. So we only want to install the absolutely necessary ones, which worst case is probably like normal bold, normal italic, bold italic. But if you're okay having the browser like hack the italic, then we could really get away with just normal and bold. I'm going to look and see what her site's actually using in terms of weights and go from there. Okay, so she's got 400 just bold, which is, I think bold defaults to 700. This is 500. 500. Bold. So maybe we'll do 3 bold versions and try and avoid 3 normal non-italic versions of 600. Okay. I think we're going to skip 700 and just do 600. So we're going to do 400, 500, 600. If we have to, we'll come back and add italics. But I mean, that would be 6 files we're loading just for this one font. And if that was really the case, if we needed all those different font weights and italics, I probably would approach the client and be like, how do you feel about looking for a like default font so that you have access to all of these weights? How do you feel about like just having a stylized header? Like what if we did Rubik only for headers and then we just loaded like 600, right? Like that would be something that I would be happy with.
Okay.
Okay, so I really wish I could replace this headers font, but we're gonna have to get a little spicy. All right, we'll leave that there. We're gonna upload this other font. So this, let me show you real quick. This says supported font files. I believe when we downloaded it, it was one of these, TTF or OTF. Ideally, WOFF and WOF2 would be better. And there are converters that do that, but in the interest of time, I'm just going to upload our current font file.
Okay.
This one. And it said it was a really large font file, so this is maybe something I would also be like, hey, is there a different font file?
Yeah.
I think I would look at it like, I don't know. Okay, so with these fonts in here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to disable these other ones that we're not using now. It's going to kind of goof a lot of stuff. Which one did I not disable? Here we go. Okay, so see how everything's like this ugly font now? We have to go into these elements and set new defaults.
Okay.
So now I'm going to tell it that like my default for text is this Rubik. It looks kind of bold to me, even though regular should be 400. So we might actually change. So one reason this would happen, on her site, we looked at that she's using 400, 500, 600. But like this one looks much bolder for us than it does on her site, right? Like her site, it looks so thin. There's a couple reasons that could happen. One, it's totally possible that these fonts are not loading correctly. And then we have to look into that. Usually what it actually is, though, is that on older sites, when I was coding them and what some other people would do, or it was a common thing to add anti-aliasing. So like to change how they're rendered. And I just try not to do that now unless the client really, really wants it. Instead, I just load us one font weight lighter.
Okay.
Just because I'm trying to do less and less changes and like customization to what the browser does and what WordPress does, so that any update that is being, like, a lot of these open source projects are improving performance. And if I'm overwriting that, then you don't get the benefit of it when it gets updated. So if it's an acceptable compromise to live without. Here we go, light. Yeah, like that just looks instantly better.
Cool.
It looks a lot lighter based on that. I love that. So it does have the italic in here. So this is that like fake italic I was talking about. Sorry to get.
Why do you call it fake? To me, it's so real.
It's like, yeah. On some fonts, you can really tell. This is a font where it's really forgiving. Oh, we don't have it open. But there's like, if you have a serif font, their italic is normally like very stylized, and you would be able to see the difference.
Okay.
Clearly, if you saw them side by side. This, if you saw it side by side, I feel like you'd be like, yeah, but it's fine. Okay, so we did the text. Link should just inherit. We shouldn't have to change these links unless we want to change the color or something. We could do that. Or apparently not even through here because it's just typography. Headers, these actually are already defaulting to bold, but we're going to tell them, I think we want semi-bold. These probably have a weight applied to them because I'm not seeing any difference when I change this. I know we did some I believe we did some negative letter spacing on these. Maybe not. Let me double check. Okay, so certain headers we do have differences. So I'm going to remove this letter spacing. And then I'm going to change the weight to semi-bold. Semi-bold and default letter spacing. This is all normal. Buttons. So it looks like buttons are defaulting to that coral color. What is it mostly on her site? I feel like it's primary on her site. Here's that tertiary. I don't know. Let's look and see if we actually want to overwrite that or not.
So where are we using Brandon Smith, or will we just select?
We'll select it later.
Okay.
Because everything with the accent font is done like in the block. So in the block, we'll replace it.
Okay.
Okay, let's look at these. She's using lowercase, but I don't want to force lowercase. Like there's a decent amount of forced uppercase and lowercase throughout her site. I wouldn't start by forcing it. I would just see like where she decides that she wants to keep it, because I try not to force uppercase, lowercase in a lot of places anymore. I mean, I will stylistically, but I just wait for the client to tell me if they really want that or not.
Okay.
So looking through here, I can definitely tell these need to be like, these are just buttons, but they need to be a higher, bolder font weight. Her font size on her site is a lot smaller. I would personally leave it as it is for now and then consult with her on what she wants. Like, I do think she's going to want smaller than this, but I bet you she doesn't want to keep as small as this, or maybe even this.
Yeah.
It really depends client to client, but I do feel like a lot of clients end up wanting to go a little larger. So like this might be what she wants to end up making her medium font, which is right now this is small.
I do think increasing font size and then content width were some of the initial requests that led to this.
Yeah. Buttons look okay. We're gonna have to change out some stuff for sure. Like she's got rounded corners on everything. So I'll probably, for the buttons, so we were in typography. I'm gonna look inside of blocks now and begin making some changes in there. Like for her buttons, two things here. On her buttons, on her live site, she definitely has border radius like pretty much everywhere. Where is it here? Rounded corners. So I want to make that a default on her block, but only from personal experience. And it's probably not a big deal for everyone, but I happen to just know that on buttons, you can't set a font weight on buttons and then expect it to be possible to override it in an individual instance. It's like a known issue that should work but doesn't. And so what I'm going to do is I'm not going to set the font weight for her buttons here, and I'll just do it in individual blocks. I'll change it.
Okay.
So that's, if you don't care, if you're fine with all of your buttons being that larger font weight, like heavier, then just do it here and you don't have to, it's way fewer steps.
Mm-hmm.
But if you want even one instance of a like non-bold button, you can't set it here. But I can overwrite radius, so it doesn't matter if I set the radius. I set radiuses to 9999.
It's not an increment of 4.
It's not an increment of 4, but like then they'll always be rounded no matter how giant the button is.
Cool.
You could do probably 999, but I put 4 9s. I wonder why.
Weird.
I think I partially do it because there was another, like the WordPress core theme for this year did that. And I would just pick up those standards from those sometimes. Okay, hold. So where are we at? I feel like for having spent maybe 20 minutes on this, we've gotten a long way to it looking more like her site. Is there stuff that I would do to make it look more similar to this? Yes. A lot of them are detailed, like font weight and size type things, and some color changes, which I would probably do on a block by block basis personally. But I think maybe, let me see if I can show you doing this background. That would be fun.
Yep.
Setting that background, and then is there something else you want to like know how we would do it?
I am going to play a lot with her header to try to match it closely. I understand that the search won't be the same, but getting the icons and those smaller links up top will be a goal of mine. And then I will probably try to get the lower layer of icons, chocolate cakes, bread, something along those lines. I know we might not have the numbers, but I think I will try to style one of our blocks and put that in the header. But I don't know that I need you to show me that. I want to
that.
try. Yeah. That was my crestfallen face earlier. This was my fun afternoon. But you're doing a lot with fonts and colors and things that I wouldn't know how to tweak just so. So I'm so grateful for that. And yeah, I need that pattern.
Okay, so let's do the pattern, and then maybe we'll look at one of the blocks with fonts like this one, maybe something like this.
Okay.
So let me look at this first. I'm just gonna cheat and use code to look at the background of this. I think I remember we did it on her whole site. Beautiful. So this is the background. It is in her theme, not in her media library. So I am going to save this, and then we're going to have to install a plugin to be able to upload SVGs, because this is an SVG and I love that. Okay, so first of all, save as.
Should I add the SVG plugin to our getting started guide? Let me make a note right now.
Maybe.
You're passionate about that.
I do love SVGs. Okay, we have SVG support installed. We're activating it. All right, now media, add new. I just dragged the file onto here. Almost there. Okay, while that figures out if it wants to upload. Okay, so this background is only being set on the home page all throughout it. I don't think we're going to do it that way. I think we're just going to set it on sections, because that's more like how most people will probably use it. Close this. It's not certain that it's going to upload that, but we're going to hope for the best.
It's because you stole it. They were like, this is a stolen file.
I stole it from myself.
I know.
Okay. I'm going to put it on the back of this section right here, which will be interesting because you'll see how I have to change this section in order for it to work well with backgrounds. So first of all, in my sidebar here, going into the styles tab, and then specifically background image, open media library, hope for the best. Ooh, no such luck.
It's still thinking.
I wonder
You want to
why.
hit refresh so bad.
I do. It's such a small file.
Do it.
Why have you not uploaded? Dismiss. Dismiss. You guys were surely impacting the ability. Open.
Look at you addressing everything important.
It's not uploading.
You're using the multi-file uploader. Problems? Try the browser uploader instead.
Who reads the text on the screen?
It says you ignoring notifications because it could affect it.
Look how sad it is. Because no, we will not be uploading that. All right. Guess what? This is the URL, and we're going to see if we can just use the URL.
Gosh.
Oh, no. You can't just use a URL. Oh, yeah. Error. Okay. We're going to do something else, and we're just going to pretend like it looks like a checkered background. We're not going to use those. Oh, that would not have been cute. I feel like when we search for a logo, we're going to use this. I know it's a lot. Trust the process. Don't trust me at all.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so we're going to do a few things here. First of all, if this was a grid, it'd be just as giant as this, and we would need to make it smaller and have it repeat. So once you've selected the image, you can set some settings in here. We're going to set it tile. We're going to change it to a specific size. I'm going to make it like 20 pixels. And then if this was the grid, it would perfectly look like a grid right now. Now it doesn't, but that's okay. Tile, repeat, 20 pixels, like that part is done. Now, it's not like the full size it should be, and that's because it's applied to a block that isn't set to full width. So in here, where we have our alignment settings, I'm going to say full width, And then whenever I set something to full width, I just come in here and I add medium padding all around.
Okay.
So that'll give you your spacing. I mean, you can increase it, but that's what I start with. Top and on the sides. On the sides, you can't see that it matters here, but on mobile, it's helpful. So padding all the way around if you set it to full width. And then because it has a background now, I don't want these white gaps, which I'm not going to be able to fix the bottom one, but at least the top one, set that margin to 0. And then the block after it, I think I'm still going to set the margin to 0.
Yeah.
And this image will just be over the pattern a little bit. So let's come here. Let's give it a little more padding just because I happen to know that this block underneath it has negative margin. And yes, I know that this pattern is a little bit painful to look at right now, guys.
I'm going to swap it out.
But we're going to figure out why uploads don't work later.
Yeah.
And like now, so any like sort of repeating pattern, so easy to set up and have that work.
So exciting.
So other than it looking a little terrifying right now, I feel like that was a really easy way to show like how easy it is to do this.
Mm-hmm. You got a lot done.
Yeah. You have to like change out the blocks and stuff. The only other thing, I know I've really taken up the whole time with this. I did want to show like how we could change one of these blocks to look better branded for her. So I think I'll do this post one. That one's so important. Make it a little bit more like this, but maybe combining some of this in it just to show. Okay, so she's got Science of Baking. This is so challenging. Do I want to talk about that? Maybe. Let's start with this. We're gonna do this little pre-title here. She doesn't normally have colors behind it, but she does do like caps lock. So I'm gonna remove this row. I'm just gonna ungroup it to get rid of. Nope, I have to change the background. Clear the background color to get rid of that. Clear the padding. And then I still want this to be a paragraph, but I'm going to make it look kind of like a header. Maybe extra small. 0.05. What does she have? It might even be more than that. 0.1. Appearance. And then remember, she went up to semi-bold as her like most bold, but then we want to go down a level. So I think we just want to be at medium.
Okay.
Maybe we want it to be more bold. I like this. Maybe I want it bigger. Nope, I definitely want it smaller. Gonna make this smaller. This is just to look more like her current site. Again, she probably wanted her fonts a little bigger, so I'm not really sure if these changes would stay. She has square images without any drop shadow, so reset the drop shadow. Change images to square. Set the border radius to 0. Actually, that border radius is set on the image block. So let me save this real quick. Back in our style editor, I'm going to go into my image block. And I'm going to set the border radius to 0 here. And that should change the border radius on most of the site, depending on if some of the blocks have it set manually. Hold. Featured image. That's where it was. This is 0. So right here. Beautiful. Okay, this background color she normally does as this. Oh, let me refresh this so it looks, so the borders are not there, the border radius. That was silly of me. These headers, I want it to be a lighter font weight. I'm trying to think about, would I have done some of this stuff in this site editor so that it's done site wide? Some of it I could have, some of it I can't. The only thing I think I would have done in there is I would do the font size changes we want. But a lot of this other stuff like this, I can't do it anywhere else. Changing these headers, if I know I'm going to change it across all the blocks, then maybe yeah. But more than likely, I probably would need to do it on a block by block basis. And then I would just save a pattern with my changes in it.
Okay.
And we're really running out of time, but I still want to do stuff. A little bit of padding, some background. Remove my block spacing. We're gonna, no, we're not, hold. We're gonna utilize more groups. And technically her button looks a little different, but I think I'm going to leave this because I'm running out of time that I want to show. Okay, so there's one other thing I wanted to say. This I feel like looks pretty good. I would do more things like this that are just like minor tweaks to make it look much more like her current brand. So like this took me, I don't know, 5-10 minutes. And it looks much more like her brand overall without having to do a whole new site for her. That being said, if I were branding something that already had a brand and I needed to write it onto a theme like this, I feel like the theme provides a really good starting point for like all of these patterns and everything. And if possible, I would even love to get rid of some of these, like this white background, and like pull up from her previous brand just to like pull down some of the work and keep it more default. But what I probably would do, just from my experience with this site so far, is I would probably create a new page. This is going to be so obnoxious, Hannah. You might hate me for this. I think I would insert all of our patterns on here, and I would customize them all. I would just tweak them all just perfectly for her site. Like, and for me, that doesn't mean that I would like redo any of the, like I would insert all of these patterns and do it for all like 60 patterns we have. But I wouldn't like redo the layout or anything like that. I would just make sure like, are the buttons the right font, weight, and stuff like that. I would start with defaults through the theme settings, and then I would come tweak in here. Like her site does not use border radius on images, and it doesn't use drop shadows. So I would just be like removing that stuff.
Okay.
If there's SVGs, I'd be setting these to like her brand colors, just so that when she inserted it, or when I inserted it, because I'm working on her site, allow that this stuff would all be a lot closer to what I wanted. And if this has a border radius, I probably would remove it. I don't even have to set it to 0. I don't know why I did that. I just have to delete it. Yeah.
And then in doing all of that,
in doing all, like inserting it here wouldn't save it as a pattern for her to create later. I would come in here. It already has this name, and I would create a pattern, and I would copy paste the name in here. So like I would say rename, Command C, close, create pattern, Command V. I would turn off synced, and then I would add it to whatever categories I want.
okay.
And I would do that with every single custom pattern on the site, just to get it like close to where we want it.
I was thinking of doing
and that would all be saved in her database.
Yeah. So I was thinking of doing that after the first like look on the home page, just so that we can agree on like some stylistic adjustments before applying it to all of those patterns, because I wouldn't want to do that so many times and have overload, right?
Yes, totally recommended. Because like I said, there's some stuff that I'm like, it'll be easier for me, it'll be easier for you if we do away with this. And so like I'll present it without that, and they'll be like, I want those little white boxes. And I'll be like, excellent, let me throw them in there.
Yeah.
But just like I present it as like, this is what I would do if it were me first. That way they can kind of like make the decision on some of those things. And I know we're at 3. Can I show one more thing?
Yeah.
Patterns. So once I have all those patterns saved in the database, I would come in here and disable all of the patterns that like I've recreated. Look how long they go on for. So many patterns.
And then there will be so many more.
Yeah. I'll have to ask if we can get like an uncheck all button here. Yeah. So then I would like turn off all the ones that are bundled with the theme because I like use them, I imported them, and I made them part of my own database.
Cool. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling like I could keep playing with this. Like this is fun for me to like, especially once you like understand it, it just becomes so easy to just get in the flow and like
It's so
make
gratifying.
things. Yeah. So then I love when people come to me with like a can you make this type of block? And I'm like, you know I can.
This actually makes my day for you to ask that.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
I
Laura,
would
did
love
you
to.
have any questions when you came to this live? I know I should have asked you this like, 30 minutes ago, but
Before you
we were
let me
really excited.
start.
I know. Well, we were rolling. It was exciting. I'll give you a few minutes to answer. And look at your kombucha. You always have to have one on a live stream.
I do.
I feel like this was really good. I'm hoping I can make some shorts and reels out of this particular live stream. And then I have at least one client I'm meeting with next week that I probably want to share all of this information with because it's just so cool. Maybe next week, can we talk about existing custom blocks and how we'll move, or the different ways that you can move that over? Like surely Flavor Bender has some. You're like, oh, I don't want to.
It's such a dry topic.
Yeah, but it's a sticking point for people. I really think it is.
Yeah. Okay.
it's
I think
worth
I'll want some
discussing.
examples. So maybe we can put out a call for examples.
Cool.
Yes,
Yes.
Laura, you can totally email us.
That would be great.
I will make videos custom for you for rambling and totally not giving you your moment today.
Awesome. Okay, well then I will check the email inbox for Laura's questions, and I'm gonna log off so that Lauren can travel and I can pick up Kips from the bus stop. Well,
All right. Bye.
see you next week.